Hey YouTube, this is We All Juggle Knives with a throwing knife review. These knives are Rough Rider brand throwing knives. Now this is going to be a review of these, but before we get into the details, let's roll in the footage of some throwing featuring these Rough Rider blades. Then we'll come back and I'll give you my thoughts and analysis of these for the thrower. Okay, we are back. I hope you liked that. Well, these were a lot of fun. I did have to do some work on the tips because they came extremely pointed. Well, actually, they came pre-bent, unfortunately. When these arrived, the tip was so pointed that it was actually poking through the box it was in, and then they were all inside a bigger box. So because these were poking through the box, the tips actually hit against some things, and the tips were bent when they arrived, but I just filed them down with my work sharp. If you make a cheap throwing knife with steel that's not heat treated, soft steel, and if you put a super pointed tip on the throwing knife, that tip will bend. I didn't really mind that they arrived with the tips bent because I knew from experience that with the first throw, as pointed as these were, the first throw was going to bend the tip anyway. So I already knew that I would have to file down the tips to a more broad geometry that could withstand throwing it into wooden targets. Alright, so I already knew that I was going to have to file down the tips. You know, like any throwing knife, the knives are going to get beat up when you throw them, especially if you're throwing them all at one target, right? It's inevitable. At some point they're going to hit into each other or might hit into the handle. Now the handles, these are full tang. The handle scales are thin micarta, which is good because you can actually get a very good pinch type grip. You can get a very good throwing grip on these. You can expect these to get beat up, and the steel is soft too. It's very soft, so instead of a small nick, they're going to get large dents. You see that huge chunk that's been taken off of it? I don't know if you can see. But yeah, there's basically like a huge dent in this one. Just, I don't know what it hit. It probably, it probably hit the other knife like this. As far as the weight on these, they are fairly light for an almost 12-inch knife. They're fairly light because they're basically thin, alright? And the handle scales are small and thin as well. They're certainly pointed enough. They're easy to stick in that regard. They're a little light, so you have to have a more light touch. You can't just wind up and haul off because it's just going to spin off into space. Alright, so this has been We All Juggle Knives with these Rough Rider throwing knives. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for many more. I'm out.